I have no money right now, so right now I'm spending my little free time I have here to go because I have a bunch of points on my McDonald's app, so I'm going because you're allowed to actually use them all day. It just has to be per visit. So I'm just like, as I'm driving back home, I'm just like hitting every single McDonald's to get some food. It's interesting. Really sitting here observing certain patterns with myself, and I need to clean these fucking things. And I realized that, like, well, obviously I said the thing about caffeine. I'm still like coming down from that. I'm still like slowly tapering myself off it, and that so it having that in my system plays a factor in this. Absolutely, I can feel the tightness in my chest and everything. But I notice that, when I say there's a part of me that's like still holding on, it's like I'm kind of looking at it from a different angle right now. And like really like noticing, it's like, okay, if you take this moment and then truly just let go of everything, right? Like truly. And then all of a sudden it starts creeping back again. Even though you actually legit just everything, let go of everything. It's really it's not as, before it was like, yeah, it's like, oh, me being afraid to let go. But then I finally do it. But then the feeling that, because I was so used to just staying in it and always trying to solve it, the feeling of still kind of needing to do it starts to creep up on me. And when I spend too long actually having a clear mind, all of a sudden I'll have this freak out moment where it's like, what am I doing wrong right now? And that's just hard to shake. I don't really know how to fix that. I mean, yeah, part of it is don't try so hard to fix it, absolutely. But like, I don't know, it's still something I gotta figure out. And yeah, definitely getting off the caffeine will help because, I do it enough to myself. I don't think it's necessarily, I think really looking at my psyche and really the way it is and the way I've just kind of examined it today and felt it, it really is like, I don't think I'm sensitive to caffeine, like physically. I mean, it feels like I am, but it's really just the fact that my brain is so fucked like this that it's any kind of upper you could think of, I mean, I've never done coke or anything like that, but I imagine like even with that, like it would be so, I mean, it's bad for you anyway, but like for my anxiety and just the way my brain thinks, like my shit right here, I mean, I'm not like the ultimate, I don't have the most anxiety. Obviously I've been able to have a job, all this kind of stuff. Like I know, even though my case of anxiety is a very unique case and it's very, very bad compared to most people, there are definitely people that have it worse. I know there are people that can't leave their homes that are just so deathly, like not decrepit, the debilitating anxiety. They have, they're crippled by their anxiety, whatever you want to call it, crippling, debilitating, whatever. It's just that bad. So like, I do have to take that into account. Like I can't be all woe is me all the time because I do know there are people that have it worse, but like I still have to acknowledge that I do have a very unique case of this shit, and there are different ways I have to go about it than other people that are on the spectrum of anxiety. Yeah, it's, I really need to dial in to what I specifically need, even if it looks really weird to other people, because the ways that have worked for me have always been very unconventional ways, even in comparison to like people I look up to that have done things in like unconventional ways. Mine are unconventionaler. Yeah, and that's always what's worked for me. And then when I try to do things the way you're supposed to do them, that's when I fuck up and all that kind of shit. Yeah, I don't know. Like, So I have to keep that in mind. I'm just saying, I realize, like, I'm really, not saying I wasn't paying attention before, but I'm kind of seeing it from a different angle now. Like, what's kind of going on in my head, and kind of have an idea what I need to do. Luckily, today's been a light day at work, so I can just kind of go home and chill. I think I really just got to spend this time back from my alcohol detox to now detox from the caffeine. I feel like I need a support system to help me out with that, because it's not a very common thing that people are having this existential issue with, like it is with drugs and alcohol. Which, by the way, I don't like saying drugs and alcohol, because alcohol is a drug. It's all just drugs. It's the same shit. I hate that people try to make a differentiate. The only reason they do is because alcohol has been illegal. I feel like it sounded like I said illegal. Alcohol's been legal and like socially acceptable, so they like to separate, alcoholics from the drug addicts, because yes, alcoholics, it's bad for you, but it's not as bad as being a drug addict. It's all the fucking same, man. You trust me, being in rehab, it really points it out to you. I mean, like, I felt this way before, but definitely after being in rehab, it's like, it's straight up, like, it's all the fucking same thing. I mean, it's not the same. There are slight differences. Obviously, there are upper fucking drugs and then downer drugs like alcohol, like the numbing shit or the, whatever, all that kind of, enhancement drugs or whatever. There's, obviously different highs people are going for, but you'd be surprised how similar people's, like, not the actual events that happen in their lives. Actually, a lot of times you get a lot of different stories, but like the feelings that have gone into it and all this kind of stuff. And you see how you, as maybe this regular working guy like I am right now, and then some CEO guy, and then you guys is like some guy who's like always had like whatever, or some musician or some janitor or some unemployed guy, whatever, and you realize you all have like a lot more in common than you think you did, like a crazy amount. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, I always knew that. It's like, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because someone has this status doesn't mean they're better than this person. But you really see it, like, in real time when you're at a fucking rehab. Like, you really see how everyone's going through similar shit. And it's just like, even if the actual details of their story are different, it's just, it's the same vibe. And you're just like, oh, damn. Like, so I don't know what caused me to go off on that. I think I was just talking about caffeine or something. Then I went into the alcohol thing. Oh, yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, I definitely... yeah, I would need like a support system for that, because like everyone that I'd go to rehab with, they very much drink caffeine a lot. They also like, they have an issue. A lot of people, when they stop doing drugs and alcohol, have an issue of trying to like replace it with shit. At first, I mean, for some people it wears off, but there's a lot of people that didn't smoke cigarettes until they did rehab. And I know I've been smoking more cigars lately, but like, I've always smoked those my whole life. But like, I haven't smoked any today. It's not really like a issue. The caffeine thing's the fucking issue. But no, yeah. Caffeine, like coffee and cigarettes, are like the two things. Oh, junk food. That was a big thing for me, actually. It wasn't just caffeine. It's junk food. Try not to do that. It's just ate ice cream right now, but it was one of the free McDonald's app things, and I was like, fuck it. And it was for the same amount of points as like a McChicken or a little cheeseburger, but like, there was so much more, like, it took more time to eat and stuff. I'm like, I don't know how you put those two in the same realm. Maybe that's because it was a vanilla, and people talk down vanilla for some reason. It's not my favorite flavor, but like, when people say vanilla, they make it sound like it's boring. It's pretty good to me. I mean, I'd prefer like chocolate or something like that, but it was pretty good. Anyway, yeah, no, so this is junk food, I guess. I was just saying, is like, there's still so many people that have gone to rehab and technically gotten sober. Still, most of them will never even think to raw dog life like that. They will still drink caffeine or maybe smoke or eat some shit food. I mean, that's everybody, but like, I mean, that's always going to be me right there. As much as I'm going to continue on the path of a cleaner diet, you can't go without any junk food, or else the cravings will get too bad, and then you'll have to, And the thing is, unlike the alcohol thing and the things you should just quit, or I should at least, a lot of things in life, it's like that with the healthy diet thing, which is a metaphor I've used for a lot of my issues. Maybe not the specific issues I was talking about today, but like with junk, with like if you try to eat clean and only eat clean, your cravings for really bad food will get so bad that you will overcorrect and you will just break down and eat a bunch of shit, and then you'll feel fucking horrible about yourself. Versus when you're technically eating clean, but you will let yourself have a little bit of that junk, and then as a result, you still discipline yourself, but you just let yourself have a little bit of that, and it satisfies a little bit. And it's a lot easier to, it's like mostly good food, and then at the end of the day you have like a cookie, something like that. And yeah, I feel like that's how, I don't know how I got on this topic, but I feel like that's how most things go and how things should be. Is you can't completely cut yourself, like another thing is like sex or something like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't expect everyone to be all pure and shit. Like that's a cool fantasy and all, but like that's a reason a lot of Christians end up being like the biggest whores ever, because they're raised in this super conservative environment, and then they just like lose their shit, because it's like they have this not even just as teenagers, but definitely teenagers just have this rebellious whatever about them because of it. So that too, that's kind of the same way, it's like you want to eat clean and be good. I'm using the food as a metaphor, but it goes for that too. It's like you want to eat clean and be good, but when you only do that and not let yourself have the sweet stuff every now and then, you're going to break. You have to, if you want to be able to live that healthy lifestyle, you got to let yourself have a little bit of that unhealthy shit every once in a while. Now, I think that works for most things. Obviously, it doesn't apply to like my alcohol and stuff, but there's always going to be exceptions. Like what I said about, the big thing with alcoholism and drug addiction is like the way we try to like control things is like we need to surrender. When it comes to your mental state, surrender is one of the best things you can do. But that's only for the mental state. Literally anything else in your life, do not surrender. Surrendering is a bad thing when it comes to anything outside, but when it comes to here, it's actually the best thing you could do for yourself is just surrender to it, So there's always gonna be exceptions, So the junk food, clean eating metaphor doesn't exactly work for my drug addiction, but it does work for most things. But yeah, so, it's talking about that, I'm a little less hard now. Just saying out loud, a little less hard on those people that when they quit, they start like smoking cigarettes or drinking a bunch of coffee or something like that. There's so much coffee at AA meetings. But yeah, it's just like, I get it. I mean, I need to not drink any just for my own sake. That's my own personal thing, but I mean, obviously I'm going to have my thing, like I said, with the junk food, but then also I have the cigar thing still. Even if I'm not smoking as much, I still dabble in it, so, I mean, they're not habits, though, necessarily. I don't know, whatever. It's like, you can't, no person can be 100% completely pure in every aspect of their life. Something's got to give, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But yeah, I need to quit the fucking caffeine. And then also kind of try to figure out a better way to combat that, when that feeling of like not doing enough or like that I'm doing something wrong creeps into my head, because that has been such a reflex for so long. Letting go of it is so fucking like, it's scary. Because I let go, but then I let go for like 5 minutes, because after that I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I doing wrong? And it's like this thing, and that's bad, and you're wrong that you're doing something wrong. The thing that you're wrong about is the fact that you think you're doing something wrong. And this, but then you keep going back to that. So it's like, it's learning how to, like, man, issues in your head are the hardest ones to overcome. But, you know, that's the funny thing is, like, people like me who have such these hard mental issues. I mean, okay, like, I mean, there's the people that are debilitated by it, but, like, a lot of times it makes everything else out in life really easy by comparison, especially since it's almost like this feeling of, I got a lot of other shit going on. I really don't care. Like, get this, you know, and then you deal with what you need to real quick, and then go back to trying to, like, solve this issue, because it's just like, you know, things in your mind are so overblown that everything else out here is so minuscule or small in comparison. Which is the way you kind of need to look back at that then, because you overblow things. It's like, well, you might be doing it with this too. You overblow things, and then everything out in the outside world is now small by comparison because of what you do here. But the fact is, you overblow things, so even the things in your mind is really a lot simpler than you might be making it, or something like that. You know, I mean, it's not easy. The solutions are simple but not easy, right? It's like a good workout. Like, the basics is what you need. You know, I said it in the video before, you know, at the Elliot Hall's thing where he's talking about the 4 exercises. Only 4 exercises you need are deadlifts, dips, front squats, and pull-ups. Those are really simple movements, but they're not easy if you're doing it right. Especially deadlifts, you gotta have everything be correct. And I think that's most things in life, is like a lot of the solutions to all of our shit is actually really simple. It's just kind of the way we've developed and the way maybe you're raised or something like that. It's just we overcomplicate it, and as a result, despite it being technically a simple thing, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to let ourselves do. So, yeah. Gotta get my shit together. I mostly do. I feel like. I think that's the thing that keeps that demon coming back, is because I do have so much together now. It's like, you're not allowed to do that. So, one thing I need to do, though, is I need to go to more meetings. Definitely. Yeah. Not drink the coffee there, but, you know. Just go to more meetings, because I need the, you know, my community, because I've kind of been shaken by not having that. It was so easy to progress mentally with all these support systems around. I mean, I still have them, but I don't have them physically near me anymore. You know, I don't live in LA. None of the people I was with in LA even live in LA anymore. We're all scattered. Yeah, I mean, not none of them. There's a few of them that are still in LA, but yeah. I fucking, yeah. More than just this. I mean, this is important to me to do these videos, but, you know, I gotta actually talk to people in person, because it's nice, the few people that have actually commented on the videos and stuff like that, and some of the people I've interacted with on here, but, like, 1, it's not that many, and then 2, it is text versus actually talking to a person. Not saying I don't appreciate it. I mean, hell, that's kind of the point of being on here, is to have that community, but there is a clear difference between doing this and then actually talking to another human being, like, or being around them, and, you know, getting that energy. There's always a separation when you put the, you know, when it's on the internet or whatever like that. When it's through a medium like this, or through text message or whatever like that, you don't completely get it. You know, you cut off from, like, the sense of being around a person. And that's the same thing with, like, the reason online dating doesn't work is because I mean, there's sometimes where some people get lucky. I've gotten lucky a few times. No, but the reason it really doesn't work is because, like, even if you're not a superficial person yourself, you kind of are when you go on there, because you have no other choice, because you don't have that being around them. Like, for us guys, it's so hard on the online dating apps, but if you really, like, put yourself out there in real life, sure, not everyone's gonna love you, but, like, you have so much more of a better chance. A lot of the girls that wouldn't give you a second chance on the dating app, if you met them in real life and they get the actual vibes from being around you, and that's how you meet, they're much more likely to give you a chance. There's there's definitely so many women that will reject you online that wouldn't if you actually met them in person. Not saying all of them. There's definitely people that would reject you regardless. Don't get overly confident. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go in person. I'm just gonna get laid like crazy. I'm not saying that. But yeah. So that brings me up a point is like, this is cool and all, but there still is kind of that separation, unfortunately. Yeah, you can't just isolate yourself and only get your socialization through this. This is cool and all for when you can't, for whatever reason. You know, like right now I don't really, I mean, I'm gonna go to the branch later and I'll see my managers, I guess, but like really, like I'm basically done for the day right now. I don't really have anybody else to talk to. I mean, unless it's through text message or phone calls, but like I said, being in person, it's, you know, it's different. But yeah, there's still value to this. I'm just saying there's a difference. Anywho, yeah, that's about it. Yeah.